Teaquilts, and today is February 13th, 2019, and it is 7 o'clock p.m. So if you are viewing this at any other time, just know that it's a recording that you're looking at. And I need to pull this up on my cell phone. Let's see. That was everything. My hair looks real crazy. I was just about to wash my hair. Let's see. I'm so tired. I really wanted to take a nap. I didn't really want to come on tonight. All right. Got quite a few of you in the chat room already. Thank you so much. I have bad lighting. Let me see if I can help it out a little bit. I did not put up the umbrella lights the last couple of lives. I'm barely making it in here. See, we only got 1 minute before 7. I'm just going to go ahead and start with the chat box shout outs. We got Christine here from Pennsylvania. She says hi T and everyone. Hi Christine. Clint Hedges says hello. Hi Clint. Welcome to live chat. Diane 57. She says hi T. Francesca is here. She says hello T and everyone. Francesca, a lot of people watched your studio video and they really loved it. Somebody asked if you love your long arm. Do you like it? I bet you do. We've got Beth Dallas here. She says hi. Hi Beth, how are you? Welcome to chat. And Clint says he's new. Welcome to the chat. I kind of figured that. That's why I said that when I said your name. So welcome. I appreciate it. If you got any quilting related questions, just pop them into the chat box. We'll try to answer as best we can. That goes for you too, Beth. I think you're new to chat too. I could be mistaken. We've got Wind Sprinter saying hello from Maryland. Judy Smith is here. She says hi. Honor Safar here. She says hello from Ohio. My brother is here. He says, hey sis, you are right, but you're here. And I gotta call you when I get off live. After I gotta make dinner too, but I need to call you about your taxes. Tiffany Gary says hello from Georgia. Hi Tiffany, welcome to the live chat. Diane 57 says, I just woke up from a nap. Aren't you lucky? I wish I had that nap. I actually tried to lay down at 5 o'clock for a nap, and my body knows that it shouldn't be there, and so it wouldn't let me take a quick nap, but I did at least get to rest. I've had a weird day. Shrivia Henderson is here. She says, good evening, everyone. Oh, Christine, you're so welcome. We've got Darlene Former says, greetings from Northern Virginia. Hi, Darlene. Welcome back to chat. Beth says that she is binding a quilt, so I'm just listening. Well, that's what this is all about. And my brother says, happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Well, thank you so much. Happy Valentine's Day to you and your wife as well. I appreciate that. Linda DeVito says, finally made it live. Welcome from Rockaway, New Jersey. Well, welcome, Linda. You're always in my comment section, so I know you are a subscriber. I'm glad you finally made it. Louise Puckapool, I don't know how to say your name. She says hi from Perth, West Australia. Thank you so much from being down under for joining us live. Clint says, how do you sew your blocks without the seams coming undone? If your seams are coming undone, and I'm assuming you're using a sewing machine, I'm going to guess, then your stitch length or your tension is not correct. I would start with your stitch length. You should get at least 12 stitches to an inch. I like to sew, it depends on which machine you're on. On my machines, I do like to sew with a 2.0 stitch length for myself. Hopefully that helps. It's not, keep asking. We won't get discouraged. Francesca says, yes, that long arm is one of her best investments. It was a store demo, includes the Pro Stitcher, which is pretty cool. It's got the computerized system on it. My niece is here, Lisa Thompson. She says, hello, everyone. Hi, Lisa. Welcome to chat. And Shannon Avery is here. She's saying, telling Ray happy Valentine's Day too. Shrivia Henderson says, same to you, Ray. Teresa Senderfer says, hey, y'all. Hi, Teresa. Welcome to chat. Bonita Nan says, hello, Miss T and everyone. Hi, Miss Bonita. And Leetta Bryan is here. She says, hi, T and everyone. So thank you so much. And I got so many things that's been going on and so many things that are about to happen that I haven't been able to do a whole lot of sewing. But I have been busy with t-shirts and what else? Oh, the Ferguson Quilt Show. I do want to thank everybody for the viewing that video. It's already got close to 1,000 views. It's not quite 1,000 yet, but I appreciate you all looking at a small quilt show as well as when I do the large ones. But if you have not seen the Ferguson Quilt Show video, I do recommend that you go see it. There are a couple of quilts in there that are kind of historical type quilts that I think a lot of you will find very interesting. So if you have not seen that video, please go look at it. I'm not going to tell you anything about it because I don't want to spoil it for you. But a couple, at least two to, well, it's like I told a lot about almost every quilt in there. I told who made it, what the title was, and if they had anything interesting in their descriptions, I told you about that too. So a very small show, probably had, I'm just going to guess, about 30 quilts in the show, but the quilts were just fascinating with their story. So I appreciate all of you all for watching that. And Diane says for Chris, she says, you can backstitch when you start and when you finish. That helps a lot. But I think if your stitch length is small enough, you shouldn't have to backstitch. But that's also a suggestion. I only normally backstitch when I'm putting on my final outside border. Mary Smith is here. She says, hi, T and everyone from Brooklyn. Hi, Mary. Welcome to chat. Lauren King, welcome to chat. She says hi from Dallas, Texas. We got Melinda Carroll. Hello, T and everyone from Florida. Hello, Melinda. Welcome to chat. And then my brother gonna try to tell me, by the way, you made it too much noise in the library too. It was not me. I was whispering. And those people, we had a good time. It was like a meetup of quilters. I brought my machine and didn't sew not one crumb block. I got pieces of blocks, but I did not sew one block because every time I got down to sewing, then somebody I hadn't seen in a long time would come in, and so then we start chatting up again. Francesca says, T, that show was very interesting. Thank you so much. So this was the first year that Ferguson did that show, and so a lot of us quilters, we weren't sure about how they were going to do security and all of that kind of stuff. So some of us didn't want to put in our best work. And so we put in some things that if it was something that was lost or stolen, it wouldn't have been too bad. I mean, all of it would hurt, but it wouldn't hurt as bad as if you put in something that you really wanted. And so we talked about a lot of things. Rachel is just wonderful. And she's already talking about next year that she's going to make this an annual event. And she's also talking about coming up with a theme for next year. So I think that's pretty cool. So thank you all so much for watching. And Christine says the show was small but mighty. And that is absolutely correct. It was small but mighty. And I wasn't there with the guy who did the Declaration of Independence quilt. I wasn't there to give him an interview, but it was just truly wonderful as well. Francesca says, click T in addition to a short stitch length. Try using a leader and ender. So she's talking about using something to start and end your quilting with. That's for Chris. Helen Thomas is here. She says, hello, T and everyone. The quilt show was awesome. I truly appreciate the Stop the Violence quilt and the meaning behind it. And she says, good night. So thank you so much, Helen, for coming in to chat with us. Like I said, I don't have an agenda today. Not too much. I'm just here to do the live because I've been so busy I can't even think straight. I was in the process of washing my hair earlier today, and then my day just took a whole nother turn of its own. I didn't do half the things that I said I was going to do today. What's coming up? I got retreat this weekend. My large quilt guild, Flower Valley Quilt Guild, we're having our quilt retreat this weekend. So I'll be doing, I don't know if I'll be doing a lot of videotapes or whether I'll just do show and tell and then just add a few pictures here and there. When I'm at retreat, I tend to forget all about recording and taking pictures, and then I get home and I go, you only took like 2 pictures. That's how it always work out. So that's probably what happened there. I see Eric Oda has entered the chat room. Hi, Eric. And then he says he hopes everyone is warm. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to this weekend. I even made some turkey soup that I'm going to take for Friday because we don't get fed on Friday, and then if it starts raining or snowing, which our weather is forecasted to do, I don't have to leave the building. So that'll be fun. Also, again, the T-Gear shirts number 2 with the gold. Did I even bring it in here? I happen to have it here. No, I don't. I don't know where it is. Hold on for a second. So this shirt is now on sale. It's sparkly. It's you go to my website at www.teaquilts.com. I even have a few women's sizes. I have been getting orders, and I will start making them. I did not want to start making them before retreat. My shirt order actually came in today, and so on Monday, I'll be back home Sunday from retreat, but on Monday I will get the first batch of orders in the mail. So thank you so much for supporting that. And I want to make sure I get everybody in the shout outs. We've got Darlene saying, I see that AQS posted a number of quilting cruises in their journal. I might have to do that one time. Joyce Rockamore says, hello, my Teaquilts friends. Thank you so much, Joyce. Welcome to the live chat. June Hansen is here. She says, hi, Eric. In 30s today, and it's going downhill below 0 again and snow for the next 3 days. And it was doing a lot of raining in California area as well. So I have been doing a lot of creating, and I'm not even going to show you everything that I've been creating to do shirts with. But I did go to the store, and I decided I needed a hoodie with Teaquilts on it as well. So I put Teaquilts on the front of this hoodie. So this is the front. And then I have tape on the back. Actually, when it's on this hat, the tape, when I put the next one, I'm going to put the one with the website on the back here. It will be right under the hood, about a ½ inch or so. I also made this shirt, and I'm hoping you can read this. It says, you start with the I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I'm hoping these are coming out so you can read them. Another shirt I made. I'm diversifying. I just want to make quilts. And then the last one here that I actually put on a shirt is some things I have not even put on a shirt. This one here. At first I was just going to do Love of Missouri Quilter with the heart, and then I just decided to go ahead and put I'm in the middle. So those are some of the things that I've been working on. I received a paper pumpkin. I received an AQS. Trying to make sure my address is covered. I received an AQS magazine, and they also have a little catalog in there. I opened the box on the paper pumpkin, but didn't even open the plastic. And I've decided, they mailed me out another one today. I think I'm gonna like cancel that because I haven't been making them. I got so many of those things, I don't know what to do with them. Oh, and then I think last week we were talking about what was on the back of this hoodie. So I kept it up here so you could see what's on the back. Whoever designed this, it's actually screen printed, and it's got so many colors. At least 4 or 5 colors on it. It's just really pretty. But this is what our line dancers do when we go to New Orleans. We go up there for line dancing, and it's called NOLA Bash. And the last thing I had that I just want to show you is that, I don't know if any of you all are familiar with Mass Drop, but every once in a while they'll run specials, and I don't even know if they have how much it is on the packing slip. Nope. So I can't remember what I paid for these, but they had a 2 pattern. They had all of Elizabeth Hartman's patterns, and then you got to choose 2 for a particular price. So I got on that deal. I actually shared that deal in Teaquilts group. So if you're in Teaquilts group, you should have heard about it. But I thought that maybe I might try some of these. And it was definitely cheaper than buying one, if I'm not mistaken. So this one is called Delightful Desert, and this one is Awesome Ocean. So, and I think that's it for show and tell. I still have a video coming about the vinyl that I've been getting or using, but I got that recorded, so I won't show you all of that. And that, oh, the last thing on my list is that my brother and my daughter wanted to thank you for the birthday shout outs. My brother got a lot of birthday shout outs last week, and then my daughter got shout outs on the birthday video that I uploaded. So thank you all so much for doing that. And let me go back and make sure no one else came into the chat room. Christine says, beautiful shirts, T. Thank you so much. Trivia says she's got freezing rain in Ohio. Eric Older says, I just want to make quilts. Give me fabric. I love the strengthens me quilt. It's a t-shirt, but I understand what you're saying. I don't want anybody to think I have a whole quilt about it. And Lisa says she loves them all. Bonita says awesome shirts, and I know some of you all have electronic cutters as well. June says I love the one with Christ and the last one. Those 2 are my favorite. I like the challenge of doing that Christ who strengthens me one, and then the Missouri quilter. I just love that black, red, and white just looks really cool. Eric says I like the hoodie. I figured if I have on a shirt and then I go put a hoodie on, I'm gonna cover up my shirt. And Diane says, I saw that quilt. It's beautiful. What quilt? I don't know what quilt. Christine says, please give a thumbs up for this video. Thank you, Christine. I appreciate that. If you all can, please hit the thumbs up button. June says, you got your quilt done. I'm putting one on as well. Yes, I do have the quilt done. It's still on the frame because You can see some of the little scraps over here. I have used all of my extra binding pieces that were sewn together. I've made like 2 quilts, my last 2 quilts, and I put scrappy binding on it. So now I'm just, since I can, I'm going to audition which pieces of fabric I'm going to put in the binding, and I'll show you that. I'll do that in just a second. And Darlene says, I'm thinking about attending Paducah Quilt Show in Charleston, South Carolina in September. Diane, quit whining. She's talking about, but I'm a Texas quilter. Oh, you're talking about the patterns, the brown one with the foxes or owls. I'm like, what quilt? I'm thinking of them as patterns. They're not quilts yet. This one here, the Delightful Desert. So yes, I thought that was pretty cool. And you can make them in any colorway you want. You can just kind of use her fabric suggestions and then make your own color palette would be cool as well. So y'all know that challenged that I don't know how to turn this screen. So let me see if I can figure this out. I have so many issues. Hold on. I'll try to be gentle. I just dropped my hoodie on the floor. So, let's see. I have no idea. Let's hit this magic wand and see what happens. I'm trying to figure out how to change. See, that button I thought made my stuff turn backwards. I have no idea how to make this thing turn around. I thought I did. Okay, so we won't worry about that. I'm just going to take you off the stand, so hold on. And then I'm going to have to put all this back together. So here we have the quilt. I've got like some pieces on here across my rails. I'm just auditioning certain pieces for binding, so they're just on there. But you all wanted to see some of the quilting on this, so I thought I would show it to you. And I can't see what I'm looking at. I'm trying. It's a bird block right here. And then like in all of the stitching in the patchwork where it's checkerboards, I've been just doing an X through it. And then different things inside of each block because they're all different. And the reason why I did that is because if you look right here, wait a minute. You can see like these yo-yos. I forgot that I had 3D elements in this quote, and it's in a couple of spots. And so I could not do that. So yeah, so that's some of the quilting here. And I will try to roll up so you can see more. Let me move some of these strip sets from when I was auditioning fabrics. Just put them on my table on the back. And try to roll to another section for you. Look at that glittery ceiling. I hate popcorn ceilings as well. So yeah, I'm just going to try to roll this up a little bit. I don't know where the turn thing is on this. It's so crazy. It's bizarre. I'm not even going to lock it. So here is the next section of the quilt. I've got some circles here. Churn dash blocks, which is my favorite. I hope you can see some of this. And I can't see any comments. And again, I used 2 battings on this quilt. And the reason I did that, I'm hoping you can see what I did to my zigzag part. I did that because I wanted to try out the wool batting. We talked about that in a video when I went to a quilt show last year when I purchased all of that. And then also I've been finding that my quilts are not very warm, so I'm using Warm and Natural underneath, and then the wool on top so that I get some dimension. And here is, I had one of these extra blocks that I put into the quilt show. It was hanging in the ceiling. I got some shoes right here. I hope you can see that. You all are going to get dizzy. And this is going to be the last section I show you. I just was real simple with these churn dash blocks. And then this Evening Star kind of expanded block. And this is where I did a lot of mess up in the quilting. I wasn't sure what I was going to do when I first started. Kind of made a mess and thought maybe I should take some of it out. But I'm like, it's going to be a used bed quilt, so I don't think I'm going to take any stitching out. It's going to be what it is. So I'll get my pieces from over here. I got to get my stand. And we'll go back to the desk. And hope I don't cut you all off. All right. So let me see what you all saying. It's way too late now, but I'll at least humor myself. And then Eric says, did Elizabeth makes the hedgehog patterns? Yes, she did. And then he talking about, whoa, she's pulling a Blair Witch Project. No. Joy says, your hair is getting longer, Miss T. How do you keep it so healthy looking? Actually, right now I'm having some issues with my hair. And I had my niece come over, I'd say about a month ago, and I had her cut off about 3 inches. And I think I have eczema, and now when I went to the doctor, I've been twice, and I have another appointment coming up at the end of the month. But they think I'm also developing psoriasis with eczema, and there was some fancy word for it, but I can't remember. And I think I'm starting to get it in my scalp. That's my problem. So I've been just basically just trying to wash my hair, keep my scalp clean, and doing conditioners. That's why I ordered that conditioner cap. I did tap my screen numerous times all over, and then it's like if I'm doing like regular video recording, like of myself, not live, I can change the camera, but it seems like when I'm live, I don't have that option. Eric says, is that all free motion, or are you following a panto? That's all free motion. And I got plenty of mistakes in it, but I don't think I'm taking out one stitch. And Diane says, super cute. Thank you so much, Diane. And then Francesca saying, come put that on my photo setup to show it off. I actually throw quilts across my deck when it's not raining. I just haven't like my last 3 quilts, I just haven't done that. And I'm still working on the binding on one. I don't know what's taking me so long to get my last 2 quilts completed. But I do have a video where I'll be putting some finishing quilts in a video. And I'll probably put this quilt in a video by itself and take a picture of each block, because I think maybe that might help somebody with trying to figure out how to quilt a block. Not that I'm an expert at it, because I was just making it up as I went along, and I was getting like super tired of it. So yeah, but I think I'll do a separate video for this with separate photos. And I did do some recording, but I realized that it was going to take me a long time to finish this quilt. And so I stopped recording. And I'm like, I can't record and get this done too. It's been on my frame since like mid-December, or maybe it was after Christmas. I can't remember. Maybe it was after Christmas. My niece says, beautiful quilt. Thank you so much. And then Eric saying he loved the churn dash. Churn dash is one of my favorite blocks. Any variation. I love the fancier variations of them, but I'll take a simple one too. June says, good job, love it. Thanks for sharing. My pleasure, June. Said the yo-yos are cute. A lot of people like the yo-yos. Those are the ones I was popping threads. I got to restitch those down when it come off just to make sure. Janet says, love your quilt. Jennifer says, beautiful quilt. Judy says, awesome quilt, just gorgeous. Thank you. And Eric says, mistakes. What mistakes? I didn't see no mistakes. Yeah, I don't see them either. And I'm actually going to use it, so I'm going to put it on my bed, because the whole purpose of me putting the double bat in it was to use it. So I want to know if it's going to be any warmer. And Diane says, okay, she's figuring out her recording situation, and she loved the log cabin blocks. Well, thank you so much. But yeah, so that is kind of all I have. If you all don't have any questions, I don't know what we're going to do for the next hour. Are we going to let Eric act up? We got another half hour left. Joy says, thanks for mentioning that wanting extra batting is a normal desire. You know, warm and natural used to be a very thick batting, and if you put that into a scrap quilt, your quilt was normally super duper heavy. And I just think all battings are changing over the years, where they're not as thick as they used to be. And that's why a lot of long warmers, especially quilts that are in quilt shows, I'd say about 80% of those quilts have double bats in them. One batting to keep it flat. They'll normally have some kind of cotton batting on the back side, and then they'll use like a wool, a polyester, or 80-20, something that would give some dimension to some of the areas. And that's what I was doing in this quilt. I didn't densely quilt everything. I made it so that my quilt has texture. When you put your hand on it, you can feel the ups and downs of the batting. So I can't wait to get it off and get it washed so that it'll do its full poof. So Diane says, you got my order for the t-shirt, shiny shirt. Okay, I'll do your shirt. I do have that size for you. I do have that. I know your size, I meant to say. I have all sizes, because you know your girl don't do anything if she don't do it right. I ordered, I got a wholesale supplier, and so I ordered 3 boxes of t-shirts that came in today. So I got different colors, and what I'm going to do with them is that when my Gil has a quilt show in September, I plan to sell shirts there, and I'm going to do a lot of the generic shirts that you see here. And I feel like the I'm a Missouri Quilter will also sell, that a lot of people might want that. So I bought plenty of shirts, all kinds of colors. And I better write that down, Diane, because you know I have a short attention span. And that shirt's called T Gear number 2. And as I said, you can also go to my website and order them straight through the website as well. Eric says, wait a minute, I missed somebody. Darlene says, one of my favorite quilts is the disappearing 9-patch with mistakes. I am binding it right now. Oh, that's fun. I love getting something done, but I really hate binding. That if I had to pick a part of the quilting process that I dislike the most, for me, it would be binding, especially on bed quilts. It's not so bad if it's a small quilt, but anytime it takes me an hour to do one side of hand sewing the binding, that's when I don't like it anymore. It's just a little tidbit about me. Eric says, I recently used a Fairfield 80/20 and it was like paper. I think all of them are getting a little thinner than what they used to be. Diane says, not me, Eric. I want my fabric ready to go. I don't know what that's in relation to. June Hansen says, I did years ago and wasn't that nice of her to tell you you can act up and that we will be shortly live. Slowing Down Joe is here. How you doing? She says, so fun. Love these live chats. Time for me to order a t-shirt. Oh, thank you so much. Joyce Rockamore says, paper, oh no, Eric Oda. That's with the quilting. He was talking about the Fairfield 80/20. And Shrivia Henderson says, I don't do binding. I would cry right along with you, but it's not going to get done. I have nobody that would be willing to do it for me if I didn't do it. Diane says the thing that she disliked the most about quilting would be sandwiching for me. No room to lay it all out and baste. And that was a little challenging when I retired, because when I was working, I actually worked in quality management, which was also combined with staff education. And so I had access to classrooms that I could use when no one was using the classrooms during lunch period, or I would go to work like an hour early so I could baste the quilt. And so I lost that when I retired. Darlene says, ever try machine binding? Yes, I have. And I do machine binding on all of my charity quilts and all of the quilts that I give away. But quilts that I'm using for lectures, unless it's a thing about machine quilting, the entire thing, me as a presenter, I need to have my quilts the appropriate way that they should be, quote unquote. And so anything that I think I might end up putting in a lecture, or if I'm keeping, then I will go ahead and do the binding by hand. I do a lot of quilts by machine binding. Judy says, darn, I just typed a long message and wiped it out. The short of it is I purchased a new sewing machine and kept breaking needles. And that is pretty funny, Judy, because I just saw an article come through on Facebook, but I did not share it in the Teaquilts group. And it was saying that some of your discount stores, and I'm assuming they're talking about like Walmart and Target, that they're selling sewing machine needles, and they compared the size of it to a standard size Smith's needle, and the needle was longer, the needle had a bigger hole, it was just weird. And they were saying that a lot of people that were bringing their machines into the shop was because they were using the discount sewing machine needles. I'm not saying that's your problem, but it's always something that's doing it, and we just got to figure out what it is. Maybe your needle isn't in high enough, so try that as well. When you put it in, make sure you get it all the way up and it's not slipping down. But hopefully you'll get it to work. I hate when I get a new machine and it's not cooperating. We got Claudette Bettis here. She says hi from Anaheim, California. Hi, Claudette. Welcome to chat. Darlene says, I usually bind by hand, but willing to learn machine binding. And I do have a video up there for machine binding. I didn't do another one, but I think I did one. I haven't done a second one. Oh, she says the new machine is a more expensive machine and can't understand why the needles keep breaking. If I got it from a dealer, I sure would be going back to take it in there so they can figure it out. Maybe that would be a good solution. And also read the troubleshooting section of your manual just to make sure everything is okay there as well. Diane says, I only bind by hand if I'm selling. And I even bind by machine when I'm selling. Like the Harley Treads quote, I sold that quote, but I also did machine binding on it. And it's two reasons. Number one, because if it will wear better, especially if somebody paid money for it, it'll wear better over a hand one. And I don't know how much they're going to wash this quilt. And number two, most people that are buying or ordering a quilt, they know nothing about quilts, so they don't know the difference anyway. So I don't waste my time. And then they would have to pay me a lot more for that quilt as well. Eric says, I'm buying an industrial machine. An industrial sewing machine? Are you going to get a new long arm too? Billy Weatherreed is here. She says, hi everyone. Hi Billy. Welcome back to chat. June says, I'm going to try machine binding this time. I've always was scared of not sewing straight enough, so we'll use a special stitch to see how it goes. And he says, weird that industrial machines are cheaper than the regular ones. It depends, because I've seen some antique industrial machines that are still kind of pricey, but they also only do straight stitch, which is what they're great at, and they got very good speed. If you want to do speed sewing, you can have your own little sweatshop going. And Darlene is convincing Eric to get a Juki. And he says no. Eric says no, he's not going to get a new long arm. June says, I found on my machine, I think I have the needle all the way up, and if I give an extra push, then they don't break. So that's just a tip for you on the sewing machine. It's just frustrating when you get a new machine, Judy, and you can't get it to sew right. It's just very frustrating. So thinking of machines that don't sew right, last week we were talking about the Silhouette Cameo, and I did post in my Teaquilts group, Facebook group, that I went and did a lot of research after I got through with live chat. And I had done some research when I first got my machine, but I think because the machine was pretty new at that time, there wasn't a whole lot of information out there. So find out that the reason why I'm having difficulty with cutting, and it's cutting strange, was number one is I had like a little hairline space. When I put the blade in, it wasn't all the way down. So when you put the blade in, you have to press it, hold it down, and then click to hold it in. So that was my first thing. They said if you see any space between your blade and where you push it in, then your blade is not in all the way. And then the second problem I was having with mine is that it likes to jump out of the lock position, the mat holder that's on the far right. So I have to make sure that that is not out of place, or if I bump the machine, it might accidentally get out of place. It's not super duper tight. To me, it should be tighter than that. It shouldn't easily pop out. Now, since I've done all of these adjustments in the last week, I haven't had any problems, and I've done quite a bit of printing on it with no problem. So I'm praying that this Silhouette is going to earn itself some, earn its due in the money that I put into it. So, and I've been doing pretty good with that, and the heat press is also doing very well, just to give an update on that. We got Cheryl Wallace here. She says, hello everyone. Hi Cheryl, welcome to chat. If anybody got any quilt related questions, please go ahead and put them into the chat box. We're more than willing to share our 2 cents. As a matter of fact, I think next week, let's talk about thread snippers. If you've got some favorite thread snippers, how about sharing those with us next week? Let's not spoil next week's chat and put them in there now. So we'll all just come back next week and we'll talk about different type of thread snippers. I forgot like 2 or 3, maybe 4 kind that I use. And so we'll talk about that. And we can even add in seam rippers as well. Let's do thread snippers and seam rippers. Try saying that really fast. June says, I think I read that, sorry. Eric says, thinking of machines that don't sew right, is that singer still acting up? Eric, as soon as I got my baby like Elijah out the shop, I put that singer up. It did sew well the entire time that it was out though. So it was fine. And then somebody says I use Oregon needles, so they're suggesting different brands of needles. Don says hello. Just saw you live. She says hello here from Greenville, South Carolina. Hi Don, welcome to chat. And Darlene's letting you know that Paducah will be in Charleston. Well, AQS Quilt Show will be in Charleston, South Carolina in September. And Eric says, thread snippers got my favorites. That's pretty cool. So we're going to share that. So at least we'll have a topic next week. And it won't just be all me. I'll bring different tools that I have, and I'll try to make sure they have a brand name, because I think I have one pair of thread snips that don't even have a name on it. So I may have to do some research, but I can show them to you. And Judy says that she's also new to the auto cut feature and struggling with that. It works about half the time. If your auto cut is not working, then you need some adjustment. So that might be why your needle is breaking, because your auto cut should work. Don says, how long does it take you to load a quilt sandwich on the frame? Not long at all, because I'd say I can, well, let me back that up. It depends. I've gotten lazy since I've gotten the long arm. I no longer press my backings anymore. I actually use my long arm to press my backs. I actually will put my backing onto the long arm, and then I will roll it all the way up, and then I'll roll it all the way back, and then I will start spraying it with water, just plain water in a water bottle. Some people will spray with starch as well. I just use plain water, and then I spray the area that's in the frame, and then I sit and let it dry. So then I come over here and I'm editing videos in between rows, and then once that section dry, I'll roll it and go back and do the next section, and I'll do my entire backings like that. How long does it actually take if I was doing the whole thing? It'll take me about, I'm just gonna guess and say like 20 minutes, because I don't pin. I actually have the leader grips on my machine. So I put my backing, I have my backing that has a leader grip up here, and then the other end down there has a leader grip. I don't use a third leader grip. I actually float my quilt tops. Now, it depends on the quilt. Every once in a while, I will pin the top to the leader, but that's very rare. It doesn't happen all the time. So it doesn't take me very long to get the quilts on now. And Judy says, thumbs up for T. Thank you so much. Let me go over there and hit it myself. Let's see. Darlene says she has a Juki TL 2200 QVP Mini. So they helping Eric spend his money. And Eric says that he pins problematic areas. I have to use a lot of pins. And I only pin if I feel like the quilt isn't straight. And then if I do baste my sides as I go. But if it's like one of those quilts that are really not very straight, then I will go ahead and pin the bottom on. And then I have a ruler a tape measure that I have from one end of my machine to this end, and I use Velcro to hold it onto the machine. And I use that to keep my sides the same. So as I'm rolling, I keep making sure that those measurements add up so that my quilt will not end up crooked. Thank you, Diane. She says she already hit the thumbs up button. So any other questions? And don't forget to do your homeworks. Come back next week. Write it down somewhere that you got to have thread snippers and seam rippers. Your favorite. So we're going to talk about that next week. And ironically, when I first started sewing, at one point when Joann's used to be called Cloth World, you could get seam, they had like $1 bin, and you could get seam rippers for $1, and actually some of those seam rippers were really good. Eric says, can we add rotary cutter to the list? No, not this time, because we'll do a whole nother talk about that on another meeting. So let's just do those two now, because I'm trying to do things that you would use while you were sewing at this point, like your seam ripper and your, we could do hand scissors. Maybe we could add hand scissors, and then we'll do rotary cutters, because it's so many of those out there that it can take one by itself. And we'll probably do rotary cutters with some of your favorite rulers. We got plenty of weeks. That's pretty cool. So somebody, Darlene just said she put in there, she's got about 10 rotary cutters. I got a whole lot of rotary cutters. I got a lot of OFA's Memorial rotary cutters. I don't even cut with. Yeah, Martelli. It's so many different rotary cutters out there. So, and he said that's true. Road to California had a whole section for cutting tools. Yes. So yeah, so we'll do those three. You can go ahead and add your scissors, because I'm thinking of things that you would use if you were sewing at your machine and you have to snip your pieces apart. You may have to rip your pieces, and then you may have to use some hand scissors to cut something. So let's do those three things for next week, and I like to have like your favorite long scissors, like your favorite full size. I think they're like 7 inches. Maybe I have a favorite pair of batting scissors. I have a favorite dressmaker scissors, and then I have my favorite little hand scissors, thread snips. So anything that's related to that, but no rotary cutters this time. Mary Smith asked, do you use thimbles for hand sewing? Yes, I do. I use the leather thimbles. I want to say by Dritz. It's the white leather, has some blue and a little bit of yellow in it, I think. I'm not sure if it's got the yellow in it or not. But I just use that leather thimble you can put on your hand, and it goes for any size. It stretches. Diane says that she saw someone use electric scissors, and that was awesome. Yeah, that question came up last week about electric rotary cutters, and I did not find what I consider to be electric rotary cutters, because you could not use them with scissors. I felt like they were glorified electric scissors and not an actual electric rotary cutter, because you couldn't use them with a ruler. Arna says that she used a thimble. And Darlene says she does. She has about 20 of those. I actually have one of the Roxanne thimbles, and I have it in the little bird cage, and it actually hangs on the foreside of this long arm. It's just decoration, you know. I actually hate hand quilting. I thought I was going to get so much into hand quilting. Did not. It does not relax me. So yeah. We got Barbara Bender who's commenting, I think, in the, I'm hoping I don't miss anybody's comment. Sometimes people get confused as to where to comment when we're live. If you're commenting over in the comment section, that's great because I'll get credit for that. But if we're live and you're commenting in the comment section, I won't see it. None of us will see it. We'll only see it when we're live in the chat box. So just keep that in mind. The chat box is over most places, is to your right on my iPad. On my desktop, it's over to the right. On my cell phone, it's right underneath. So I know we all got different devices. So my chat box is right down here and I'm reading the chats. So more stressed than tax. Hand quilting stresses me out. Me too. And then he says, more stress than taxes. Eric, we are brother and sister for real. I hate hand quilting. Rita Whitney is here. Hi Rita, welcome to chat. He says, by the way, did you do all of yours? I was actually working on the taxes. I told my brother, and then I got to a point where I needed some information. His wife didn't put her stuff in there, so I had to stop. And I still got to call him and ask him one more question. And I started with his taxes thinking that they would be easier, and he's held up progress. So no, still working on the first one. My mom's is going to be easy. Mine's are going to be complicated. I don't even want to look at my taxes. So Sylvia Mayo is here. She says, hello, everybody. Hi, Sylvia. Don says, how much do you think your quilt would shrink from with the wool? Previously, I've heard you say you don't pre-wash your fabric. I don't. This quilt is about 96 square inches. I figured it's probably going to draw up about maybe 2 inches or so, maybe. And it's going to give it that, if you ever felt a quilt, an old-fashioned quilt that had 100% cotton batting and they stitched where you had to stitch it a 1/4 inch apart and you run your hands across the top and it has that real good texture, that's what I'm hoping is going to happen to this, because I can already feel some of the texture as I'm rolling because I got the 2 bats in it. So I'm hoping that it will be even a little bit more. And I don't like puffy quilting, but I do like definition of texture when I run my hands across the quilt. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'll let you know. Since I don't pre-wash, I also put a couple of the Shout color catcher sheets in there as well. So don't forget that if you don't pre-wash. And another reason I stopped pre-washing, if you're not pre-washing jelly rolls or your pre-cuts, then you're mixing it in with regular fabric. So what difference does it make? And I also think that fabric is made a whole lot better now than it used to be. But I just put the color catcher sheets in there to check for my reds and my navy blues. And I will wash reds. If I do a rub test and see that it's coming off on my cloth, then I will go ahead and wash the reds. Diane says, I've already decided to double batting, and I'll decided on double batting in all of her quilts. So that's pretty cool. This is my first one today. Eric says, I got my refund today, so I'm going shopping. I need to get my taxes done, so maybe I'll get a refund. My husband and I were talking about going on another trip. My group that we went with before, they're talking about planning another vacation. I'm like, if somebody else does all the planning and all I got to do is pay our part, let's go. So we may do that again. And I never even edited. I can't remember if I have a lot of video footage. I know I got some pictures, when I was on vacation. I never did put a video up about that. Maybe I'll do it on my trip anniversary. Who knows? Okay. I know it's a lot of talking going on, and I don't know what the topic is. So when I'm just sitting here just reading, that's what it is. I'm trying to figure out what. He says, where to now? I don't know. She threw out a couple of different places. Uh, Putacana was one of them, so I'm not sure yet. They talked about going back to our last place, our last destination, but going to a different place to stay. So Rita says, what is the stuff to hold the color in the fabric? You can do like retain. Blocking the other name right now. Anybody else remember what the name of it, the stuff that you can use to keep your colors from running or to set your colors as you when you wash your fabrics? I know retain is one, synthethol, something like that. I'm just guessing. But I think you can use a combination of both of those together. Diane says she can't go on vacation because nobody wants to watch her little people, her masters. Thank you, Eric. Synthropol. So hopefully that helps you, Rita. And look up both of those, retain as well as synthropol, because I think you can do a combination of using those. And then Diane says her mom just used white vinegar. And June says white vinegar with 2 cups works for me as well. So try that too, Rita. Beth says, T, I use color catchers. Hey, thank you for the chat. Love these gatherings. It's time for me to go for the evening. Have a blessed week and happy quilting. Bye-bye, Beth. Thank you so much for coming in and chatting with us. And if you all come back next week, if you got any questions, please pop them here. If you got some questions no one can answer for you, we've got quite a few quilters here with a lot of knowledge. So thank you all so much for watching. It's actually 8 o'clock. I get to go make I'm gonna make fried rice today. I got all of my ingredients out. I got my rice boiled already, waiting on it. I should have made the rice yesterday because it's better with day-old rice, but hey, that's how it is. So we are going to go ahead and end this chat because my husband is waiting on me to cook his dinner, because if he know I'm cooking, he won't eat. When he see the ingredients out, he go, oh, she gonna cook, I'll wait. So Rita says, T, this woman has made so many mistakes. What woman? You working on somebody's quilt? Gwen Spencer says, thanks. You're welcome, Gwen. See ya. Rita says, me. I thought you was working on somebody else's quilt. Hey, it's all a learning experience, and you don't come into quilting knowing everything. So it's a lot of things that I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know them until I need to have that information, and then I go and do a lot of research and trial and error. So it's all good. So good night, everybody. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to do your homework and come back next week with your favorite quilting, your seam ripper, thread snips, and your scissors. See you all.